Hey, what's up, Internet? Back again for another chit chat. This time, as kind of promised, gonna rant a little bit, but it's informational too. So, hopefully the information, gets, understood, passed along, shared, what have you. But it has to do with this industry on the whole. There's steps taken to regulate to a certain degree here in Virginia, D.C. especially, but it got squashed. This industry, it needs regulation, and it's a whole lot more of a conversation than just what you're going to get today. But the big trickle-down effect comes to ultimately being able to adequately fight obesity, instead of those only with expendable incomes who can truly do it, or the ability to use flex spending. But until insurance companies can come into this fight and we as an industry can actually take advantage of that, the consumer won't be able to, and we're only going to be able to reach a certain level of the population. But until there's regulation in who can hang their sign on the wall, so to speak, that will never happen. The fact of the matter is, there's probably about 50 certifications out there, and really only 3 of them are worth barn room. If you're not familiar with that term, it really doesn't mean that it really means that they're not worth a whole lot. Pretty much the paper they were printed on. I'm not to be, I guess, a snob, so to speak, against those people who have those certifications, but it doesn't take a whole lot to get them. What it comes down to is credibility and credentials, and there's people in this industry who are very knowledgeable and spend a lot of time trying to stay at the top of their game in terms of the new techniques that are out there and the information that's out there, doing the continuing education. And then there's others that don't. And who knows any better? Do you? Do you ask? Are you training with someone? If so, ask them next time you see them. Who are you certified by? Are you still certified? How long have you been certified? It doesn't matter if they have a master's in kinesiology or, exercise science, whether they got it 2 years ago or 1985. Let me ask you this. If they've got a master's in kinesiology in 1985, but they haven't picked a book up in 20 years, what good's that? You think that knowledge is fresh in their little brain? Probably not, But I get it. They have the education. But that's why certifications are in place. But the problem with this industry is there's no regulation. Other than your certifying body, there's nobody that says, do you have it? Do you have it? Okay, you can train. Okay, you can't. Big companies have gone this way where they make sure that their trainers are certified and that they have the credentials that they're supposed to. Why? Because it's a huge liability if they don't. People can get sued and do get sued because they don't have the proper credentials. But it happens all the time. Somebody just opened a new group training studio, right? And what are their credentials? Who's asked that question? Because you go to the website, you don't see anything. Somebody's got a bachelor's in this, but somebody teaches spin and whatnot. Okay, what qualifies them to put, a 50-pound flak jacket on Mary and have her do box jumps until, she blows out L3, L4, and then, well, I didn't know. Well, one, you probably had been certified and credible. You probably would know it's probably not a good idea anyway, But there's no checks and balances in this industry. Anybody can hang their sign on the wall and say, I'm a trainer. And we feed this. I say we, being me, I'm a consumer, you're a consumer. We feed this because we don't do our homework. Who's out there saying, well, who are you certified by? How long have you been doing this? I can't tell you the last time I had somebody call me up and say, so tell me about you. They say, how much do you cost? And then they go looking for the cheapest guy out there. And that's not a good idea. But it happens. Rightly so, it happens. I get it. But hey, look. I own a pair of running shoes. Doesn't make me a marathon runner. I own a toothbrush, floss, water pick. Doesn't make me a dentist. But yet, your neighbor Mary, who looks like she's kind of in shape, who has some equipment in her garage, she's credible to train me, right? Why not? I mean, because it's no big deal if I, push half my body weight up over my head. It's what the trainer told me to do. It's a good idea, right? Yeah. No, it's not a good idea. So, but where it starts is, on a level that, it's at the consumer. The more questions consumers ask, the more credible this industry will become. And then hopefully it snowballs and we become more credible by way of self-regulation, on a state level, on a national level. There becomes more credibility. Because until there is, this industry is going to be a joke. Hey, I'm a certified strength and conditioning specialist. Don't call me a trainer, though I am one, and I've been one for a long time. The industry, the personal training industry, in my mind, has a good smudge on it. Just because of who they allow to do it, And again, it's nothing to say that you've got to have a 4-year degree in exercise science. But you better have a certification that tests your knowledge base to the T with regards to what you're going to be doing. Because if it doesn't, I'll tell you, I get people that come through my door, hand me a resume, and if I see one of these weekend certifications that they took online, that tells me a little bit about their character. I'm sorry, I hold 2 certifications that it took a long time to get. The tests were hard. And I'm glad they were hard because a lot of people fail them and they don't get their certs. Do you want somebody who went the easy road? Or do you want somebody who challenged themselves a little bit and their character shows because of the certification that they hold? So it starts with you as a community to kind of get these jokers off the street. By one, don't invest in them. Don't invest in somebody who's done the bare minimum or hasn't even done it at all. Arm yourself with knowledge. Do your research. Do your homework. You can even contact the certifying body. They'll tell you if somebody's certified or not. And arm yourself with that knowledge that helps you make the right decision that this person that you're putting your, livelihood to a degree, because, hey, look, if that person gets you doing something that really is not a fit for you and your body, maybe it saves you from a back injury or something. If you ever had one of those, that's pretty gnarly, pretty nasty. You don't want one of those. No, it'll lay you up. I got a good scar on my back that'll show you that, not a good idea. And I'm not saying that a trainer that doesn't have the certifications or the high certifications is a bad trainer. But regulation has got to start somewhere. You don't get that college degree just by paying your tuition and showing up. You got to have a certain GPA to stay there, or else they will stop taking your money. Well, no, they're going to take your money, but they won't let you stay there. Anyway, there needs to be regulation. It starts with you doing a little research. If you're training already, ask. Ask. Find out who you're training with. If you're thinking about training with somebody, do your homework. Read the profiles. Read the bios. If they've got one, ask. Say, hey, tell me about you. Tell me about what you've been doing. Because until you start doing that, why should it matter?